My beloved brothers and sisters, have you ever paused just for a moment and asked yourself, why am I going through this? Why did they treat me like that? Why the betrayal, the pain, the silent tears at night? What is Allah trying to teach me through this trial? Today we're going to uncover something that might just change your entire perspective on life. This message is not just for the ears, it's for the heart. Because this topic, how Allah deals with those who hurt you, holds the key to finding peace, purpose, and Allah's closeness. So don't scroll away, stay with me till the end. You never know, this could be the moment Allah has chosen to guide your heart. My brothers, my sisters, in this life we will encounter people who will wrong us, hurt us, betray our trust, backbite, mock, insult, cheat, and sometimes even oppress us. And often the pain comes not from strangers, but from those closest to us. A family member, a friend, a spouse, a colleague. It's not always the sword that cuts the deepest. Sometimes it's the words. And in those moments, Shaitan whispers, take revenge, say something back, show them what you're capable of. But let me tell you something beautiful, something that brings so much comfort. Allah is not unaware. Allah sees, Allah hears, Allah knows. Not a word slips from a tongue, not a tear falls from an eye, except that Allah is fully aware of it. And here's the truth, Allah deals with those who hurt you better than you ever could. Sometimes Allah allows it to happen not to break you, but to build you. Not to punish you, but to purify you. Not to destroy your peace, but to direct you back to Him. You might say, but why didn't Allah stop it? Why did He let them treat me like that? Let me remind you, my beloved, that this world is a test. And part of that test is how you respond when you're wronged. Will you react with anger? Will you seek revenge? Or will you rise above, leave it to Allah, and continue walking your path with dignity? There is a powerful form of strength that comes from letting go and saying, Ya Allah, I leave it to you. You are the best judge. And Allah promises something profound. When you are patient, when you forgive, when you place your pain in His hands, He handles it in ways you could never imagine. Some people who hurt you may face their consequences in this life, not because you made dua against them, but because Allah is just. Others, Allah might delay until the day of judgment, where every injustice will be settled. Not a single atom of wrongdoing will go unanswered. But here's what's even more powerful. When you forgive, Allah raises your rank. When you let go, Allah fills your heart with peace. When you choose silence over vengeance, Allah defends you in the most magnificent of ways. You may have lost a friend, you may have lost money, you may have lost your reputation. But when you choose to take the higher road, you will never lose Allah. And let me tell you, when Allah is with you, it doesn't matter who is against you. Sometimes the very people who mocked you will one day come back and apologize. Sometimes Allah will raise you so high that the same people who belittled you will need you. But that's not why we stay silent. That's not why we forgive. We do it for Allah's pleasure. We do it because we trust that He is fair and He never forgets. So my beloved brothers and sisters, if someone has hurt you, don't let it harden your heart. Don't let it turn you into someone bitter or hateful. Use it as a ladder to climb closer to Allah. Let your tears wash away the pain, but don't let your tongue stain your soul. Let Allah deal with them. He knows what you don't. He sees what you can't, and He never fails His promise. The pain will pass. The people will be forgotten. But what will remain is how you handled it, how you trusted Allah, and how you grew stronger through it all. You're not weak for forgiving. You're not foolish for being kind. You're powerful because your strength doesn't come from ego, it comes from faith. So walk away from those who hurt you, but don't walk away from Allah. And remember, the one who caused you pain may sleep peacefully at night, but the one who created the night does not sleep. Your Lord is just. Your Lord is near. Your Lord is watching. There are moments in life when the heart is shattered not by calamity, but by the words or actions of another person. The pain of being wronged is very real, but what gives us hope is knowing that Allah is never unaware of what we're going through. When someone hurts you, Allah does not simply overlook it. He is Al-Alim, the all-knowing, Al-Hakim, the most wise, and Al-Adl, the most just. That means justice will be done, either in this life or the next. And that is where our peace lies. The comfort of knowing that no action is hidden from our Creator allows the heart to let go of vengeance. You don't have to chase after justice with bitterness in your heart, because your Rabbab, your sustainer, is already taking care of it. He knows the pain you feel, the tears you shed, the nights you couldn't sleep. Nothing goes unnoticed, and this should fill us with hope that Allah sees our restraint, our silence, our effort to forgive, and He rewards it in ways beyond our comprehension. When someone hurts you, the immediate urge is to respond. It is human to feel anger, to want to react, But when you pause and hold yourself back for the sake of Allah, you are actually aligning your soul with prophetic behavior. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was hurt by his own people, by family, by strangers, yet he chose forgiveness, patience and prayer. That level of response requires deep faith. It means trusting that Allah will do a better job of dealing with your oppressors than you ever could. Reacting may satisfy the ego, but trusting Allah satisfies the heart. When you allow Allah to take charge of the situation, you're not being weak, you're showing strength. You're saying, Ya Allah, you saw what happened, and I know you'll deal with it better than I ever can. And believe me, He does. He protects your honor, He raises your status, and He replaces your pain with peace, all because you chose to leave the matter in His hands. Sometimes Allah allows certain people to hurt you so He can show you who they really are. Had they not wronged you, you might have continued to trust them blindly. But when their true face is revealed, it is Allah protecting you from long-term harm. That betrayal, as painful as it was, could be the reason your future is safe. Allah removes people from your life not to punish you, but to protect you. Their harm might be the wake-up call your soul needed. And so, when you see someone turning against you, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, what is Allah trying to save me from? That shift in mindset will transform your pain into a lesson. It will help you grow spiritually and emotionally. And with time, you'll look back and realize that what hurt you was also what healed you, because it brought you closer to Allah. Many people who hurt others don't see the consequences right away. They walk around as if nothing happened, and you wonder, is Allah going to let them get away with this? But the truth is, Allah doesn't rush. He gives everyone time to turn back, to make things right. His justice is not always immediate, but it is always perfect. On the day of judgment, every wrong will be made right. Every drop of your tears will be accounted for. And those who wronged you will face the consequences unless they sincerely repent and seek forgiveness. So, don't be deceived by their worldly success. Don't let their arrogance disturb your peace. Allah is not blind to injustice. He simply gives people a chance because His mercy comes before His punishment. But if they persist in their wrongdoing, then His justice is swift and severe. And that is why we say, leave them to Allah. He will deal with them, either through correction or retribution. Your job is to heal, grow, and stay connected to Him. When you choose to forgive those who hurt you, you're not saying that what they did was okay. You're saying, I won't let this pain control my heart any longer. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of resentment. It's about saying, I let go for the sake of Allah, because I trust that He knows what I went through and He will give me something better. And let me tell you something amazing. When you forgive, Allah increases your dignity. He fills your heart with light. He replaces the void with something greater. The one who forgives is not the weak one. He or she is the strong one in the eyes of Allah, because it takes courage to walk away with grace. It takes faith to choose peace over revenge. And the reward, it's not just emotional healing, it's closeness to Allah, barakah in your life, and a heart that sleeps peacefully at night. One of the most powerful lessons in life is that not everyone deserves access to your heart. When someone repeatedly hurts you, sometimes Allah is teaching you to set boundaries, to protect your dignity, your peace and your faith. Islam does not teach us to tolerate abuse or ongoing harm. Forgiveness is one thing, but putting yourself in the same position again and again is not wisdom. Allah wants us to be merciful, but He also wants us to be wise. Walk away from people who destroy your peace. Don't seek their approval when they disregard your pain. Preserve your soul, your mental well-being, and your connection with Allah. You can pray for their guidance from afar without keeping them close. You're allowed to protect your heart, and when you do so for the sake of Allah, He replaces the empty space with people who value you, respect you, and remind you of Him. Sometimes losing people is Allah's way of helping you find yourself. When someone hurts you, the immediate urge is to respond, to defend yourself, to prove a point, to expose them, or to inflict the same pain they caused you. And at that very moment, Shaitan plays with your emotions. He pushes you to act quickly, irrationally, and harshly. But my beloved brothers and sisters, the real test is not how sharp your words are, but how calm your silence can be. When you pause, when you breathe and hold yourself back for the sake of Allah, you rise above the hurt. You are not ignoring the pain. You are giving that pain to the one who can heal it. And in doing so, you are placing your trust where it belongs, with your Creator. There is nothing more powerful than choosing silence when you are being wronged, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to trust Allah's justice. Many people think that silence is surrender, but in Islam, silence can be a form of worship. It can be your shield against sin, your protection from reacting with anger or speaking out of rage. How many times have we regretted words we spoke in the heat of the moment? But you will never regret staying silent for the sake of Allah. Sometimes people will wrong you intentionally. They want to see a reaction. They want to see you break.
But the believer is not concerned with proving anything to people. We live not for the validation of others, but for the acceptance of Allah. And when you remind yourself of that, your reaction becomes a form of ibadah. Instead of lashing out, you remember Allah. Instead of responding with hate, you respond with patience. And know this, your silence is not wasted. It is recorded, it is preserved, it is honored. Allah sees that you could have answered back, that you could have taken revenge, but you held your tongue for His sake. And Allah never lets such strength go unrewarded. You may feel helpless in that moment, like you're letting people walk over you. But the truth is, you're letting Allah walk ahead of you, to take care of those who tried to harm you. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's trust, that's true faith. You're letting the most powerful handle what you cannot. You're handing over your pain to the one who created you, the one who knows exactly how to heal you, the one who knows exactly what justice looks like. People might misunderstand you, they might say you're soft, or that you let things go too easily. But you know your intention. You're not being silent out of fear, you're being silent out of strength. You're saying to the world, I'm not going to let this harm define me. I am more than my pain. I am more than the actions of others. I am a servant of Allah, and I leave my affairs to Him. And let me assure you, Allah never disappoints the one who relies on Him. So many times, you'll witness Allah handling your matters in ways you never imagined. He might expose the wrongdoer. He might uplift your status. He might grant you success in a place they tried to break you. And all of it without you having to say a single word. That is the power of trusting in Allah's justice. This doesn't mean you never speak up. Islam teaches us to stand against injustice. But there's a difference between standing up with dignity and reacting with ego. The believer speaks when necessary, and stays silent when silence is more powerful. Knowing when to be quiet is just as important as knowing when to speak. And when you base that decision on your relationship with Allah, everything falls into place. So if you've been wronged, pause before you respond. Let your silence be your strength. Let your calmness be your weapon. Let your trust in Allah be your anchor. And remember, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone when Allah is already defending you in ways you can't even see. Keep your peace, protect your tongue. Let your heart rest in the knowledge that the one who created justice will never let you down.
Sometimes the people who hurt us the most are those we trusted the most. A close friend who suddenly changes, a family member who turns cold, a person you supported and stood by, but when you needed them the most, they weren't there, or worse, they were the ones who caused the pain. In these moments, it's not just your heart that aches, it's your sense of trust that shatters. You begin to question people. You begin to doubt yourself. And sometimes you even begin to wonder why Allah allowed it to happen. But here's the truth that brings immense comfort. When people hurt you, sometimes Allah is simply exposing them for who they really are. He is showing you what you could not see on your own. There are things that happen behind the scenes, intentions, words, actions that we don't know. But Allah knows. And sometimes He brings certain realities to light through pain. That betrayal you experienced, that wasn't a loss, that was a revelation. That was Allah removing a person from your life before they could cause you even greater harm later on. Sometimes the very people we cling to are the ones holding us back. And Allah in His mercy takes them away, not to punish you, but to protect you. He knew their plans, their hearts, their role in your life. And so He removed them at the right time. You may not understand it at first. In fact, it often feels like a punishment. You gave them your best, and this is how they repaid you. But slowly with time, you'll begin to see the wisdom. You'll realize that your peace increased. Your heart became lighter. You focused more on your prayers. You turned more to Allah. And that's the true sign. It was never a loss. It was a redirection. Allah was saving you from a storm you didn't see coming. And here's something even more beautiful. When Allah takes someone away, He replaces, not always immediately. Sometimes the replacement isn't a person, it's strength, clarity, maturity, or even a deeper bond with Him. You start becoming the person you were always meant to be, without the noise, the confusion, the emotional weight that person brought into your life. Allah opens new doors, He brings you new people. He blesses you with new opportunities. And all of this is built on the foundation of that pain you once thought would break you. So when you look back at those who hurt you, don't look with anger. Look with understanding. They were part of your journey, not your destination. They were a chapter, not your whole story. And Allah in His infinite wisdom chose to end their part in your life because the next chapter required more peace, more growth and more of Him. Sometimes Allah tests your heart by shaking the people in it. He removes the ones who are temporary so you could make space for what's permanent. His love, His mercy, His nearness. And the more you realize that people are just part of the test, the easier it becomes to let go. You start to detach from what hurt you and attach yourself to the one who heals. So if you're wondering why someone changed, why they turned their back, why they caused so much damage after all you did for them, know that it wasn't in vain. Allah who saw everything, and He doesn't let anything go to waste. That person might have taken your time, your energy, your trust, but Allah will give you back better. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. And Allah is the source of all peace. Be grateful for the exposure, be thankful for the detachment. Because if they hadn't hurt you, you might still be depending on them instead of depending on Allah. What looked like a painful ending was actually a divine rescue. Allah was not breaking your heart, He was fixing your future. It's not uncommon to feel frustrated when you see people who hurt you walking around as if nothing happened. They smile, they laugh, they succeed, they move on with life while you're left picking up the pieces of your heart, trying to make sense of it all. And in that silence, a painful question creeps into your mind. Is Allah going to let them get away with this? It's a question that many sincere hearts ask in private, out of hurt and helpless. But the answer, my beloved brothers and sisters, lies in understanding one of the most comforting truths in our faith. Allah is never unaware. Allah is never unjust. Allah never aware. Allah is never unjust. Allah never forgets. Just because you don't see consequences immediately doesn't mean they aren't coming. Allah's justice is not always instant, but it is always perfect. The delay is not neglect, it is mercy. You see, Allah gives everyone a chance. Even the one who hurt you is being given time to realize, to repent, to correct themselves. Because Allah's doors are open to all, even those who do wrong. But make no mistake, if they continue in their arrogance, if they keep hurting others without remorse, if they think their position, power or tongue will save them, then Allah will deal with them, and when He does, no one can protect them from Him. And that's the key. We must remember that this world is not the court of final justice. It's a place of tests. The real judgment comes on the day where every injustice will be accounted for, where not a single tear will go unmeasured, where not even the smallest pain will be ignored. On that day, the one who oppressed, mocked, lied, betrayed or hurt others without repentance will face Allah's judgment directly. And on that day, your patience, your restraint, your prayers, your trust, they will not be forgotten. They will be your light. They will be your defense. They will be your reward. The heart finds peace, not by seeing people punished in this life, but by believing that Allah will always do what is right in the next. You may not get an apology, you may never hear the words, "I'm sorry," but you can still be content, knowing that Allah is the best of judges. And His judgment is not just about punishing the wrongdoer, it's also about uplifting the one who was wronged. When you are harmed, Allah raises your status. When you are silent, Allah speaks on your behalf. And when you leave the matter to Him, He takes control and manages it better than you ever could. This is not to say that we should never seek justice through proper means. Islam encourages us to stand against injustice, to speak truth, to protect the oppressed. But when you've done all you can and you still feel hurt or betrayed, then remember, justice delayed is not justice denied. Allah never misses. He never owes. Sometimes He's just waiting for the perfect moment, not only to teach the wrongdoer a lesson, but to grant you something greater in return. And don't fall into the trap of comparing. Just because someone appears to be successful in the dunya doesn't mean they are favored by Allah. Don't assume that ease means blessing. Sometimes the biggest punishment is being left to one's own arrogance, being left unrepentant, untouched, unbothered, while their sins grow heavier every day. That's not success. That's spiritual destruction. And that's why you should never envy those who hurt you. If they do not turn back to Allah, what awaits them is far more terrifying than any revenge you could ever seek. So breathe, my dear brother, my dear sister. Let go of the burden of carrying someone else's wrongdoing. Don't let their actions live in your mind rent-free. Give your heart space to heal. Hand over the pain to the one who saw everything. You're not weak for feeling hurt. You're human, but you're strong when you trust Allah to be your wali, your protector, your defender, your avenger. When someone hurts you deeply, it's natural to feel angry, broken and confused. But amidst that storm, there comes a powerful choice. The choice to forgive. And let's be honest, forgiveness is not easy. It doesn't mean you're okay with what they did. It doesn't mean you welcome them back into your life. Forgiveness in Islam is about rising above. It's about freeing yourself from the poison of hatred and the burden of resentment. It's about saying, I will not let this pain define me, because in reality, when you hold on to anger, you're not punishing the other person, you're only hurting yourself. But when you forgive, even silently, for the sake of Allah, you set your heart free. You see, forgiving someone doesn't make you weak, it makes you spiritually strong. It shows that your connection with Allah is more important than your desire for revenge. And it's in that moment, when your ego wants to scream but your soul chooses silence, that Allah elevates you. The one who forgives for the sake of Allah is promised great reward, not just in the hereafter, but in this life too, through peace of mind, contentment, and divine love, because you're proving that your faith in Allah is greater than your desire to retaliate. And that, my beloved brothers and sisters, is a victory not everyone can achieve. There's something powerful about saying, Ya Allah, you saw what they did to me, you know how it made me feel, but I choose to let go for your sake. I choose peace over pain. I choose you over revenge. That kind of dua changes everything. It's like handing over the heavy baggage that you've been carrying for so long and letting Allah replace it with light. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to sleep better. You begin to hear. Some people think that forgiving someone means letting them back into your life, but that's not always the case. In Islam, you can forgive someone and still keep your distance. You can make dua for them without talking to them. You can remove them from your circle while still wishing them well. That's not hypocrisy. That's wisdom, because Islam teaches us to protect our hearts. If someone repeatedly hurts you, you are not obligated to stay close. You are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to protect your peace. Forgiveness is not about being naive. It's about being spiritually mature. And sometimes your act of forgiveness is what saves you on the day of judgment. When you stand before Allah and He sees that you forgave someone who didn't even ask for it, someone who never apologized, that act alone could be your ticket to Jannah. Why? Because it takes incredible strength to forgive when you have every right to be angry, and Allah knows how hard it is. That's why He rewards it so generously. Forgiveness doesn't mean the wound never existed. It means the wound no longer controls you. You might still remember the pain, but it doesn't consume you anymore. You might still remember the betrayal, but it no longer defines your presence. And most importantly, it doesn't stand between you and Allah. Because when you choose forgiveness, you remove a major weight from your soul. You purify your heart, and a pure heart is beloved to Allah. So don't wait for an apology that may never come. Don't wait for people to admit their wrong. Forgive them for yourself. Forgive them for your peace. Forgive them for Allah, and let Him reward you in ways no human ever can. You are not doing it to benefit them. You are doing it to unchain your own heart. And remember, every time you forgive, you're also asking Allah to forgive you. Because we all make mistakes. We all wrong others, knowingly or unknowingly. And just as we hope Allah overlooks our faults, we should learn to overlook others. There comes a time in every believer's life when they must make a decision, not just about who they forgive, but about who they allow into their space, their heart, and their journey. When you've been hurt deeply, repeatedly, or even subtly over time, sometimes the most powerful response isn't just forgiveness, it's walking away with dignity. Islam is not a religion that teaches us to tolerate ongoing harm. Islam teaches balance, justice, wisdom, and self-respect. Yes, we forgive. Yes, we let go of grudges. But we also learn, we grow, and sometimes we protect ourselves from further damage by creating distance from those who repeatedly bring us pain. When someone continues to hurt you, disregard your emotions, disrespect your values, or violate your trust, Allah may be telling you, it's time to let go, and walking away doesn't make you a bad Muslim, it makes you a wise one. There's a difference between being forgiving and being naive. The Prophet ﷺ forgave his enemies, but he didn't allow the same betrayal twice. He set boundaries, he made decisions that protected the Ummah. That is the Sunnah we often forget. Protecting your peace is part of your faith. When you keep allowing the same people to hurt you again and again, you end up carrying wounds that Allah never intended for you. You begin to lose yourself. You start questioning your worth. But Allah reminds us, through the pain, you are worthy of peace. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of a life surrounded by people who honor you, not harm you. And sometimes the only way to achieve that peace is by stepping away from relationships, friendships, or environments that drain your soul. Setting boundaries is not un-Islamic. In fact, it is a reflection of self-respect and trust in Allah. You are saying, Ya Allah, I will not allow anyone to come between me and my mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I will protect what you blessed me with, my heart, my time, my deed. And when you do that sincerely for the sake of Allah, He doesn't just replace what you lost. He rewards you. He sends better people. He brings you closer to Him. He fills your life with tranquility. You don't have to announce your decision. You don't have to explain your silence. Sometimes the best response to harm is not words. It's peace. It's distance. It's choosing to protect your heart and focus